Hey everyone, Pesmore here and welcome to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. This is a complete mess. As you enter the gallery, you spot Haroldson inspecting the shattered remnants of a display case. If you recall correctly, the display case that he's looking at once held the Sword of Spell-Eating. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, I had a feeling I'd be seeing you again. He's working for the Crown Prince. Can he be trusted? I should be asking you that. You're your own master. Can you be trusted? It seems word has spread about your deal with Aster. Hello again, Mr. Haroldson. Harold. Right, Harold. As if I trust you enough to call you that. I'm sure you already know I'm investigating the murder of William Frege. And the prosecution suspects that someone used the demon-dwelling sword, Sword of Spell-Eating, to break into Lord Frege's room. And you and your monkey look angry enough to do it, okay? I'm gonna be very honest. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the theft last night. I'll tell you what I can, but I'm not sure how much I'll be able to help. These thefts are extremely concerning. I had these exhibits abjured with the strongest spells gold could buy, but perhaps it wasn't enough. It's never enough. But to think that one of my artifacts could be used for murder of all things. It's truly a shame how that young woman's life turned out. William was always cold and calculating, but to treat his own daughter like that... I can't begin to imagine the hardship she must have gone through. I've had my disagreements with William, but it's regretful this is how it turned out. He seems sincere when he says that, but you should still be wary. You never know who you can truly trust. Okay, whatever. Oh wait, did he say something? Okay, not that one. Okay, he did not say something. Thank you, game, for glitching. I can't believe a museum owns such a powerful magic item. I would have expected the noble houses to take them for themselves. Well, the nobility of today don't have much use for items such as these. The power of a lord is based on politics rather than magical strength. That sounds a lot like Star Wars. Oh boy. And a noble wouldn't want to wield the sword of a demon, even if the legends are just stories. A demon? Oh right! The Sword of Spell-Eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble? They definitely betray you the first chance they get. Well, legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, you mean like a legally binding contract? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. It's said that violating its terms will result in instant death, no matter who it is. So I guess there's some protection. Well, as an attorney, I'm sure you understand that it's possible to exploit and use loopholes in any contract. And according to the legends, demons take great pride in the ability to deceive and corrupt. According to the prosecution, the theft took place during the Lord's Ball. Shouldn't there have been plenty of witnesses? That's the strangest thing, supposedly. The gallery room was completely empty. Who wants to be in the gallery room? The food is not here. What, can you eat the sword? What? That can't be right. And honestly, I have no idea how anyone could produce enough magic to shatter the display case anyways. Were the wards protecting the case that powerful? They were powerful, but that's not the issue here. It would be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the glass, but it's another thing entirely to annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than what would have been needed. So you're saying that the force applied was excessive? Yes, and that's not the worst of it. It's clear the demon-dwelling sword wasn't the only item stolen. What? Another one? You mentioned that another item was stolen. Yes, it's extremely concerning. After the Sword of Spell Eating was reported missing, I checked the other exhibits. That's when I discovered the Armbands of Intellect have been stolen. And unlike the Sword of Spell Eating, we haven't found the armbands. We look at the case where they used to be. They've been removed, but the glass is completely intact. The thief didn't shatter the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. What? What is going on here? The two thefts are completely different from one another. Are they even related? Or did two different thieves coincidentally steal from Harold that night? You mentioned that someone would have needed a powerful spell to shatter the display case. Wouldn't that narrow down the list of suspects for the theft? Not everyone attending the ball could cast spells that powerful. Well, according to the Inquisition that may be Spanish, Beatrice Frega's magic was powerful enough to have done this. Discounting the fact she's frickin' blind? Yes, I'm well aware of that, and it doesn't sit quite right with me either. Was there anyone else at the Lord's Ball capable of matching her power? Only the heads of the four pillars could have invoked magic this powerful. But apparently Beatrice is an exception to that. Is Beatrice really that powerful? Or is she being scapegoated by one of the leaders? But the cases can be opened normally, can they? Otherwise, how would you transport the artifacts from place to place? Ah, yes. The magical locks on the case can be disabled. Fear? I just love it. And you're not a hot girl who's innocent? Even better. You detect some fear. Is he hiding something? How are they disabled? They act weird around people. You can tell because they stare at you. Nah, just joking. That's me. They could be turned on and off using a spoken password. And how many people know this password? Only myself. I personally oversee the transport of these items when they're moved. So Harold could have stolen the sword that night. Could he have staged the robbery to cover his tracks? Harold, a witness told us that you got into an argument with William Frege that rhymes with Sega on the night of the murder. Was he planning on defunding the Hall of History? Ooh, someone's mad. Yes, he was. He made it very clear. But that doesn't mean I have anything to do with the murder. I'm not saying that you did, but I need to explore every possibility. So I need to ask, did your argument that night turn hostile? I'll admit, our discussion turned heated, but it never escalated to threats of violence. How insulting he was. It should have. William was being unreasonable, and I was frustrated, but that's all there was to it. He deserved what happened to him. The eye shows more resentment than he's letting on. Do you have any conflicts with him prior to this? We have had disagreements in the past. I was receiving pressure from the royal family about what I was displaying in my museum. The king believed that some of my exhibits were too controversial for the public eye. Ah, he's a Japanese politician. Understandable. What do you mean? I'm sure you noticed the rising tensions between the common folk and the nobility. I've never been one to shy away from the bloodier parts of Isengard's history. The citizens must know about these parts of history, otherwise we're liable to repeat them. However, the king believed that my historical exhibits did nothing but dig up old wounds. Is this like shooting a shot at the West or Japan or something? I have a feeling it is. The nobility thinks they can smooth public relations by censoring history, as if they couldn't get any worse. Nothing but simpletons, the lot of them. Anyways, it's clear that he is passionate about his work. Would that passion drive him far enough to commit murder, though? Thank you for your time, bro. Harold. I think we'll be on our way now. You have a lot of info, but none of it really leads anywhere. So many people had a motive to murder William Frege. Who actually did it? Perhaps you should take some time to review everything you learned. Oh god, okay. Thinking time. My least favorite time. Motives aside. That aside, let's go over the events that happened that night. It all started with the demon-dwelling sword of spell eating was stolen. What do we know about the thief of the spell eating sword? He's old and has a monkey on his shoulder. We don't have a specific suspect, but we do know something about them. Oops. Yeah, Harold is a powerful mage. Sure. Ah. Okay. Sorry, the flashbang, bro. Okay, yeah. You were there. The thief was a powerful mage. That's the only way they could have shattered the glass. But what about Harold? He could have just unlocked it. He could have stolen this sword and staged a robbery, but he couldn't have shattered the glass. His bones would break first. Only a powerful mage could have done that, and I doubt Harold would lie about that when we could easily confirm it with Steelwind. Right, but then what happened next? They brazenly stolen the sword of spell eating. This caused Harold to report the theft to the Kingsguard. I'm not sure who said that, but whatever. After Lord Haraldson reported the theft, the Inquisition... Okay, whatever. Yeah. Yeesh. Then, there's Leaf's statement. My father was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during the meeting. The servant said he wanted to be left alone. He retreated to his study immediately after the meeting. I tried to speak with him when the theft was reported, but he didn't care much about the missing artifact. This happened okay, whatever. What does this tell us about William Frege? Oh wait, what was the answer again? I was just spamming through it because I used my brain for like 10 minutes and couldn't figure it out. Okay, whatever. William Frege was murdered after the lockdown was activated. That means whoever killed him bypassed the lockdown and broke into the magically locked room. They had to have used a sword, right? That's likely, but not necessary. An anti-magic field would also have the same effect. The murderer could have stolen the Spell Eater sword to throw off the investigation. The anti-magic field is a high-level spell. Not many mages would be able to cast it. I don't doubt any of the nobles here will let us see their spell compendiums. But because of how powerful the anti-magic field is, we can still conclude the murderer is a powerful mage. This actually narrows down our list of suspects. There's still no concrete evidence though, and we haven't even spoken to all the suspects yet. Right, still hasn't had a chance to speak with Lucio Steelwind. Dang. Did Overwatch 2 die already? But given his status, you wonder if it would even be possible. Anyways, it's a good start. And it's not as if we're defending this case anyways. The trial's getting close. We don't doubt Miss Tamora's abilities, but you should share what you learned with her during the trial, before the trial begins. It's a little strange you haven't seen her since the investigation began, but she might be meeting with Beatrice at the dungeon. Oh, right here. You arrive at the dungeon and search for Miss Tamora. She wasn't at the crime scene, so she must be here. Or at least that's what you thought, but you don't see her anywhere. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert. Oh, hi. You were so caught up in your own thoughts, you didn't notice you were walking right in front of her cell. Hey, get the hell away from me! I didn't expect to see you here either. Can you get the hell out of here, please? Oh my god. Also, are you Spanish? Your father's Spanish, are you? Okay. I didn't expect to see you here. Yeah, even she's scared. Yeah, same. Celeste Celeste lets out a shriek as Ares approaches you from behind. Yeesh. For a split second, you see her hand dart towards her sword. It appears she still hasn't gotten over her instinctual fear of Ares. Ares? What are you doing here? Ah, Beatrice is actually an acquaintance with my father. He sent me here to help her through this ordeal. I got it covered, okay? You can just stay the hell away from me, okay? Like 1,000 feet. In fact, just move to the Eastern Kingdoms or whatever. Just get the hell away from me. That brings up many more questions, but you really don't have the time to pull on that thread. You have less than an hour before the trial begins. You need to find Miss Tamora. Have either of you seen Miss Tamora? I have some things to share with her. No, I can't. I've never seen... She was just here, but she left to retrieve some documents from her office. Do you have any idea when she'll be back? She didn't say, but if your discussion has something to do with the case, I could pass a message on to her. You feel a little hesitant for some reason, but it is her life on the line. If anyone should know about what you've done, what you found during your investigation, it's her. Okay, let me tell you what I know. Okay, from the list of suspects to the possible motives, you notice that with each revelation she becomes more uneasy. The idea of someone framing her must be stressing her out. I see. You've certainly been very thorough. What's with the fear? Yeah, but I still have no concrete evidence that points to anyone. Why is everyone so sus? We underestimated him. We? What do you mean we, Nintendo we? If he reveals these findings to Prince Aster, he might suspect something. What? Sorry, I was just deep in thought. And you were able to catch on one of these thoughts. Beatrice? I'm sure you're aware that Prince Aster has your best interests at heart. I know. Even though we haven't spoken for the last 5 years, I still consider him a dear friend. Ooh. Friend-zoned. Whatever, he's got a better one. Then I suppose you have no issue with me sharing these findings with him. Of course not. This yabai. Even he wouldn't support us if he knew I was involved. Wait, what was that? Her thoughts just said that she was involved. Did she actually murder her father? Is something wrong, Mr. Cuthbert? You look a little pale. Why do you read my soul, huh? Since you can do that. You creepy bitch, get the hell away from me. Beatrice was actually behind this? But how? She's completely blind. She couldn't have navigated through the manor and avoided the guards. You know what they say? Teamwork makes a dream work. No, you must be taking her thoughts out of context. That's it. Mr. Cuthbert, perhaps you should get some rest. You look tired. You think very carefully about what to say next. There's one way to get a certain answer through the eye, but if you're wrong... Beatrice, you weren't actually involved in this, were you? Tyrion? Hey, something might go down. You see her brow narrow in response. Once again, she claps her hands together. She's clearly trying to stay calm. You know what they say? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Do you suspect me now, Mr. Cuthbert? You didn't answer my question, Beatrice. As if I need to justify it with a response. But no, Mr. Cuthbert, I was not responsible for his murder. Well, at least not directly. I was technically an accomplice. An accomplice? Did she work together with someone? Obviously. Cuthbert? I need to put a bell on you, jeez. Miss Tamora? I swear I'm not doing anything illegal, I think. Your mentor seems to have sensed the mood in the air. She raises an eyebrow at you. Miss Tamora? Can I speak with you alone for a second? Okay. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Miss Tamora, Beatrice, she actually did murder William Frege. Ooh. She gazes. Miss Tamora's gaze narrows. Her eyes dart around the room to make sure the guards didn't overhear you. What are you talking about? How could you possibly know that? I used the Eye of Horus on her. She conspired with someone else to orchestrate William Frege's death. Yeesh. Have you told anyone else about this? No, it's not as if they believe me anyways. You're the only other person who knows about my abilities. Okay, just stay quiet about this for the time being. Anyways, I need to get ready. The trial starts in half an hour. What? You're not seriously gonna defend her, are you? Of course I am. I'm her attorney. But she's guilty. I saw it. Look, at this point, I don't know what you saw. Do you think I could just abandon a client minutes before a trial? No, but it's not for either of us to decide who's guilty and who's not. Everyone has a right to an attorney. Our court system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor to keep things fair. More importantly, you had no right to use the Eye of Horus on my client without my permission. What? But I don't have time to argue about this. We'll be talking about this later. Before you have a chance to respond, she walks away. Celeste sees both of you and awkwardly approaches you. Hey Tyrion, is everything okay? Celeste, I think Beatrice was actually behind this. What? You don't blame her for not believing you. It's not as if you can tell her about the Eye of Horus heresy. Although, why haven't you told her? Alright, I believe you. What? You wouldn't say something like that if you weren't sure, right? But if what you're saying is true, what now? You think long and hard for a moment. I don't think we need to do anything. What? Steelwind is handling the prosecution, and she's definitely no pushover. If Beatrice is truly guilty, I'll just have to trust her to get the job done. Either way, I don't think we're in any position to get involved. Yet. Alright, if you say so. It's really none of your business. You have no stake in this. You're not obligated to do anything. You've done everything you can. It's in their hands now. Ooh, it's none of your business. This isn't your fight. William Saga was a tyrant and a bigot anyway. He's a noble who did nothing wrong but steal from the poor. The world is better off without him, and it's not as if you didn't try. All you have to do is wait for the trial to run its course.
Objection!
Yep, the moment of what the hell. Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert. Cuthbert? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. This isn't betrayal. Okay, it kinda is. What the hell are you doing? I don't know. But what I do know is that there's a massive contradiction in Miriam Fraga's testimony. Who were you kidding? As if you were ever the type of person to stand by and do nothing. Hell yeah, let's do this. Table slam. Your Honor, the defense, I mean the prosecution. I would like the right to cross-examine this witness. Bailiff, please arrest Mr. Cuthbert. I am holding him in contempt of court. Oh, wait! You didn't really think this through, did you? Instead of following his orders, the bailiff walks over to the judge's podium and whispers something in his ear. What? I see. Very well. What are they saying? It appears Miss Steelwind has somehow predicted this would happen. Okay. In accordance with her wishes, Mr. Cuthbert may act as the prosecutor in her stead. What the hell? You can't be serious. Yeah, what? I am honestly just as surprised as you are, Mr. Mora. But Miss Steelwind has apparently designated him as her stand-in. How did you know? Was this all according to your keikaku, huh? Come on. It's unorthodox, but it's also legal. Is it though? I guess it is. Whatever. You recall something strange Steelwind asked you earlier today. So, what would you do if one of your clients was guilty? I suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer. And if no one else would represent them, I don't know. It would definitely be a hard choice for me. But I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice. I see. Steelwind, did she somehow know this would happen? This isn't exactly how I expected the trial to go. I don't think anyone did. Okay. Shortly after you barged onto the prosecutor's table, Celeste awkwardly followed behind you. Curiously, she only did so after the bailiff didn't arrest you. What do you mean, curiously? I guess we're really doing this. What's wrong? This feels weird. We're on the other side of the courtroom. I mean, this is where the prosecutor's supposed to stand. No, this feels way too jarring. Ruby, can we switch tables? What? But please ignore her. No, this is way too weird. Tyrion, get it to switch with us. Scaled Lord Celeste. For the love of... I genuinely don't care. Cuthbert can have this side if he really wants it so badly. With that out of the way, let's resume proceedings. Assuming we're all at our preferred spots. Wait a minute. They just horizontally inverted the sprite for the other side. Okay, I need to review the footage on this later, but that's what oh man. We are, Your Honor. As much as you hate to admit it, you are more comfortable here. Not that you want to encourage her. Look at that smile. You can't deny that smile, okay? With all these interruptions, I think it best to review the proceedings up to now. The prosecution proposed that Beatrice Frega's motive for the murder was to claim the inheritance. However, the defense brought forth a witness who testified that Beatrice was disinherited by her father 5 years ago. Am I correct, Mr. Mora? You are, Your Honor. Oh my gosh. Very well. Considering the circumstances, I think it's best to have Lady Frege repeat her testimony. Bailiff, please escort her to the stand once more. Miss Frege, could you please give your testimony once again? Of course. One day, we all woke up and discovered Beatrice had fled from our home. She left a note for us. In it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told me he completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had on the estate. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. This all happened 5 years ago. So your father disinherited Beatrice shortly after her departure. Yes, he did. As such, Beatrice had no motive to murder her father. Any inheritance she would have received would be long gone by the night of the murder. Is that really true, though? That must have been a surprise for all of you. Did she tell anyone else about her plan? No, she didn't. She left without a word to anyone. Should have spoken with us first. It appears she's sincere about what she's saying. For what I've heard about your father, I don't find that surprising. That's... I'm so sorry. I know I hated you. But you've been through so much, okay? I am terribly sorry for you. You fictional character. Why am I... Okay, whatever. It's clear to everyone involved that my client was not treated well by her father. That's what drove her to sacrifice her claim to the Frege estate. My father had many responsibilities. He had much to consider. And that justified his treatment to your sister. I'm so sorry. Despite being her witness, Miss Tamora isn't holding back against Miriam. That seems like a drastic reaction to her simply leaving her home. My father and sister already had many disagreements before this. He made it clear he wouldn't tolerate her many acts of insubordination. I imagine this was the last straw for him. While that sounds in character for him, would he really do something so extreme? Regardless of his personal feelings, House Sega holds a lot of financial and political power. Would he really change his inheritance so haphazardly? That must have been difficult for you and Leif. It was. My father wanted everything to be his way, and anyone who didn't comply was punished. That's a terrible way to treat anyone, much less his family. If this happened shortly after Beatrice fled, you must have been less than 13 at the time. I can't imagine how it must have been. But we can't really trust your testimony if you were only a child. I remember it vividly. My father's words, the look on Leif's face when she realized Beatrice was gone. I even remember the way the sun was shining through the window that morning. It was all my fault. I remember at the moment with clarity. My father was sure of it. It sounds like a painful memory for her, as she seems to be falsely blaming herself for what happened. It'd be best not to press her more than necessary. You felt it while you were watching from the gallery. A part of her testimony didn't match what you learned in the investigation. Must have been something that Leif told you. Ah, that was it. Miss Frigga, it's clear that you're regretful from how your eldest sister was treated. That guilt must have eaten at you for all these years. Cuthbert, I know you don't have a good history with the witness, but you shouldn't rub salt in her wounds. Hey, I don't want to rub salt in her wounds, okay? I know she was a bit of a, but she has been through a lot, okay? And she's not acting like that anymore. Plus, she did give Best Girl a lot of lotus juice, so you know. Fine. I was merely pointing out the witness's personal connection to the defendant, Miss Tamora. She clearly regrets not standing up for her sister all those years ago. So perhaps she was trying to make up for that bump by lying to protect her. Excuse me, I did nothing of the sort. Miss Frigga, you testified that your father disinherited Beatrice 5 years ago. However, I have testimony from another witness who spoke with the victim on the night of the murder. After Beatrice's meeting with William Frigga, he openly declared he would be removing her from his will. He even entered his study to draft a new will to reflect that decision. So that raises the following question. Why would the victim need to declare that he was disinheriting the defendant? It doesn't make sense if he already did that 5 years ago. Is that so? Well, who did you hear this from? It's clear they had no understanding of my father's estate. Ooh. You're not gonna like the answer. It rhymes with beef. They had no understanding. Miriam, this testimony came directly from your sister, Leif Frigga. What? Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah. And she should have also been present during this alleged meeting 5 years ago. Well, she must be mistaken then.
Objection!
Your Honor, how can we trust second-hand testimony from a witness who isn't here? Would it make more sense to have Leif give her testimony directly? I agree with you, Miss Amara. Leif Frege should be allowed to clear up this misunderstanding. She looks way too confident. What is she planning? You're not sure if it was intentional, but Miriam's testimony was false. Could she be lying to protect Beatrice? And if so, is Mr. Moore expecting Leif to do the same? Bailiff, please escort Miss Leif Frege to the stand. Miss Sega, when we spoke earlier, you mentioned your father decided to disinherit Beatrice. And he decided this after their meeting on the night of the murder. Is that right? Yes, I did say that. You see, Leif. Cuthbert doubts the testimony given by your younger sister. He seems to think she's committed perjury. What? I won't go so far as to say, witness, lying under oath is a serious crime. It would have harsh consequences, even for someone of your sister's status. No, she couldn't have... Oh boy. Wonderful. Are you saying that you can corroborate your sister's testimony? Miss Tamora, you can't just intimidate the witness. I have no idea what you're talking about, Cuthbert. I'm just telling the witness what may or may not happen depending on what she does next. The choice is ultimately hers. So, Leif, assuming Miriam isn't lying under oath, could please testify to the court to confirm what your sister said? Yes, of course. I love bad grammar. I just love it. You see, Miriam was quite young when my father called us to his study 5 years ago. She didn't understand what he was really doing. My father would often lie to us. It was one of the many ways he kept us in line. The encounter that Miriam described was just another one of his lies. Despite their disagreements, my father would never disinherit Beatrice without a good reason. He always held onto the possibility she would become desperate enough to return home. The truth is, none of us knew what my father was planning for House Frege's future. See, Cuthbert, the truth is much more complicated. No one could really know what he was planning. Leif is definitely trying to cover for Miriam, and Tamora is playing her like a fiddle. Luckily for you, she's not the only one that gave her statement to you. So you're saying Miriam's testimony was based on misunderstanding? Yes, my father was never true with his actions. He always knew just what to say to plant seeds of doubt in people's minds. I mean, that is what politicians and bank staff do, you know? I'm aware of how it sounds, but he had much to consider outside of his family. The Freges are one of the pillars of Isengard, after all. Keeping the family aligned with our house's goals was one of his responsibilities. It's clear she doesn't agree with what she's saying. Is she in denial? Is she in denial? Or is she trying to keep the family name clean? So, you really think your father would lie about something so important? It was of great importance. That's why he had to lie. He wanted to make Miriam understand the consequences of disobeying him. What kind of father does that? A lot, actually. You'll be surprised. Not just fathers. Mothers, too. Not just them. Basically any caretaker. A lot of caretakers. Grandparents, guardians, aunts, uncles, yeah. But if he truly wanted to scare Miriam, why wouldn't he disinherit Beatrice? Even after she renounced her name and denounced him? My father was always pragmatic than vengeful. I imagine he expected her to fail on her own, and if she came back, she would be forced to rely on him. If he could make someone like Beatrice feel powerful, he could get the rest of us to fall in line. Looking back, I suppose that's all we were to him. Assets to be appraised and traded. You hear a bit of resentment in her voice. If that were true, why would he tell you that he was disinheriting Beatrice? Perhaps it's a warning. I had my own share of disagreements with him after all. Even now, I have no way of knowing if he was telling me the truth or not. That would depend on what Mr. Mora and Beatrice discussed with Lord Frege. Right now, you still have no idea what they even talked about. Did William Frege really lie to them? From what we heard, honestly wouldn't put it past him. He clearly had very little respect for his daughters. But there were other people that he did respect. Right. Was there anyone else he would have told the truth to?
Objection!
Miss Frege, did you really have no idea about House Frege's future? No, I didn't. My father made sure of that. As I told you, he's a man of many secrets, and a manipulative bastard. But with Beatrice gone, you would have been the one to inherit your father's estate. Will you really be ignorant of your father's plans for House Sega? Unfortunately for you, I don't think you'd be that careless. Bump! In fact, I have it on good authority that you knew exactly what William's inheritance would be divided before that night. What? Leif, according to Lloyd, you were arranged into a diplomatic marriage with his son. You expressed resistance to this arrangement, correct? I have no reason to comment on that matter. Cuthbert, the witness's personal matters are hardly any of our business. Yes, I must ask you keep this discussion relevant to the case. Your Honor, Leif's resistance in this marriage is exactly how I know that her testimony is false. She was extremely adverse to this marriage, and because of that, she made sure to know every detail about how it would affect her and her house. As that includes how House Frege would be inherited by her future husband. That raises the question, Leif. Why are these violins so awesome? If you already knew the intricate details of this marriage, why would your father tell you that he was disinheriting your sister? That statement will only make sense if Beatrice was already in his will beforehand. That would render Miriam's testimony false and constitute a motive for the defendant.
Objection!
You present a decent argument, Cuthbert, but your claims rely on one assumption. Which is, even if he was lying, the victim declared that he was revoking Beatrice's inheritance. She must have already been in the name previously. Otherwise, there would be no need of him to say that. It would make sense otherwise. And that's where your assumption is. You're assuming that William Frege is acting logically. What are you talking about? It's clear he was extremely controlling of his daughters. By your own admission, Lady Frege was resistant to the marriage arranged by her father. In addition to that, a few months ago, Miriam Frege found herself wrapped in controversy regarding the Nightgrave trial. And finally, to make matters worse, Beatrice Frege, the special child, finally returned and made a public appearance during the Lord's Ball. What are you trying to insinuate? In his eyes, William Frege's ability to keep his daughters in line was clearly weakening. He must have gotten desperate and made a grand declaration in a feeble attempt to scare you, Leif. Even if that declaration was completely inconsistent. But he wouldn't. Your ability to remember must be modeled by the shock of your father's death. His statement couldn't have possibly been true. If by some chance it were true, that would make you guilty of perjury. Or perhaps it was Miriam that's been lying. If your father's statement were true, the court must be inclined to investigate her for lying on the stand. Yeesh. Miss Tamora, are you threatening her? As I said before, I'm merely stating the facts. The witness is free to act as she sees fit. I'm just holding her to consider the potential consequences of what she says next. What do I do? Damn it. She's pressuring Leif to side with her. She's clearly conflicted though. Is there anything you can do? You feel a sense of clarity when you look at her. Is it the eye of heresy reacting to her stress? You wonder. Whew. I'm sorry, I need time to think. Please don't stare at me like that, Mr. Cuthbert. Wait a minute. No, wait! It's too late. Haha! You did it! You activated the empowered eye. There has to be something in her mind you can use. The state of her father's inheritance is the backbone of your case. Is there anything in her mind that can definitively prove what was on his will? Father, I know we had our differences, but I did love you, and I didn't want you to die. She seems genuinely surprised and regretful about his death. From your encounter earlier, you know Beatrice had an accomplice, but you doubt it was Leif. I need to make sure that I tell the truth without harming Miriam or Beatrice. Beatrice couldn't have possibly done this, and I'm sure Miriam also has her reasons. They couldn't rely on me back then, but they can now. You didn't get any leads from that. You should try something else. As much as I hate to admit it, this trial is a perfect opportunity to back out of the arranged marriage. The Lloyd's holdings are weakening by the day. I doubt he'll be able to put up much resistance. And once Beatrice inherits the estate, we might be able to rebuild our family. She's assuming Beatrice will inherit House Sega. The confidence must mean she's certain of what was in William's will. But how do you prove that? Beatrice, after all these years you finally returned. I can't believe this is how it ended up. If only I was as strong as you, I'd be able to endure this. You didn't get any leads from that. Okay, yeah. How did both of the swords find their way into Beatrice's room? Could Tracker have... No. Miss McCoy's sword is one thing, but he couldn't have possibly broken into the Haraldson gallery. Although he was extremely fixated on it. How does she know how Celeste's sword was taken? As much as you want to follow that lead, it'll all be for nothing if you can't turn the trial in your favor. You should try something else. Why would Miriam say those things? Am I misremembering? I'm mispronouncing words now. Am I misremembering things? No, I would have remembered something like that. She must be trying to protect Beatrice. So Miriam's testimony was a lie. Beatrice's inheritance wasn't revoked until the night of the murder. This man, I thought Asta hired him to protect Beatrice. Is he betraying us? Or is Beatrice actually... No, she can't be. I refuse to believe she'd do something like this. You didn't get any... Okay. Ruby Tamora, I heard stories about her. I never expected Beatrice to hire someone like her. I wonder if she'll be at the will reading tomorrow. A will reading? She must be talking about William Frega's will. I believe you had enough time for deliberation, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you able to prove the defender's motive or not? I'm not, Your Honor. At least, not yet. It's clear we won't get anywhere until we confirm the state of William Frega's will. And we can easily confirm that tomorrow morning, when William Frega's will is read to his family. How did you... I see. Once his will is read, it will become public record. I suppose I have no choice but to suspend this trial until William Frega's will is read.
Objection!
This is ludicrous. The case against my client is completely outrageous. Ha! And your desk slam is completely, utterly trash. In case you need a tutorial, your hands need to be on the desk. He spent the entire court proceedings arguing if her motives even exists. The prosecution has very little evidence that physically implicates my client. Miss Tamora, you clearly don't believe the defendant had anything to do with the murder? Of course I don't. She's completely innocent. Oh, now your hands are on the table. Lesson learned. Well, if your client didn't murder the victim, who did? Ooh. You sneaky little... Your Honor, with no other suspects, are you in a position to pass a verdict? No, I am not. Mr. Cuthbert is correct. The court does not have enough information to pass a verdict. Until the Inquisition, that is probably Spanish, has time to investigate these new developments, I will be suspending today's trial. Oh no, there's a third one? We will resume the trial tomorrow afternoon. Court is adjourned. Well, that happened. Sorry, I kinda acted without thinking. But out of everything that happened today, I can't believe Steelwind somehow knew you'd do that. And I can't believe you were like, hey, let's switch positions. I don't like this. Like, come on, we need to be professional. Right, that is strange. Did she seriously predict what I do? Off of one conversation? Considering how things turned out, you suppose she was right on the mark. But that was still a big leap of faith. Well, that's all it is. A leap of faith. Oh, what's up, Danger? Anyways, we have some time to ourselves. I'd very much like to catch up on some sleep. Yeah, today's been exhausting. For a lot of reasons. And your work has only started. You still have no idea who Beatrice's accomplice was. The will reading is just an opportunity to stall for time. So the question remains, who really murdered William Frega? What the hell was that? Wow, you are scaring me. Why is your son filling in for Steelwind? Listen, I have the situation under control. Well then, I hate to see a situation you consider out of control. Ares, my father is not pleased with today's developments. The verdict was supposed to be passed before Frega's will becomes public record. This has thrown quite the wrench in our plans. I understand. Cuthbert is just confused, but he's not a threat to us. Us? Oh no. You better hope you're right, Tyrion. Tamora. Or else your poor ward might suffer the same fate as prosecutors do. Whoa. Ho 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 ho. But what? Us Frega's too important of a prize for us to let go. Bring us results, Tamora, or else we'll continue to take more drastic measures. Okay. Oh no. This is getting low-key kinda scary. Thanks, Ares, for frickin' existing. Now we know that Tyrion's life is actually in danger. Thank God he has a bodyguard. Oh man. But tomorrow's in it too? Man, that's... Is she under control? Like under Ares' control? I don't know. I guess I'll find out later. No, I guess we'll find out later. Cause I'm assuming we're in it together, man. Whew. Man, she really creeps me the hell out. I had to, like, switch on the lights, man. Whew. Yeah, I usually play at night, like, in the dark. Like good old classic PewDiePie, like back in the day, but this is just too scary, man. Whew. Man, that was really something else, so... Yeah, this episode's a bit short, but... Yeah, I didn't expect it to be short. But I guess the next one will be longer. Because of the will reading and the questioning, meeting Lucio from Overwatch 2, I think. Yeah. Well, it's gonna be a long day, right? With that being said, thank you for watching my playthrough of Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. If you like what you see, stay tuned and stay awesome. Good night.